Well, guys, man, we've been talking about this whole thing about Caitlin Clark and Raven Johnson. We've been discussing, the Caitlin Clark fans coming at Raven Johnson because the Indiana Fever's front office selected Raven Johnson at the number 10 pick out of South Carolina to the Indiana Fever. And a lot of people are dating back to 2023 when Caitlin Clark and Raven Johnson had their little altercation. It wasn't even an altercation. It was something that, Caitlin Clark waved off Raven Johnson on a 3-point shot. And things changed ever since. And everybody wants to bring up the racial things. They saying that Raven Johnson said toward Caitlin Clark. And it's getting out of hand. And now these Caitlin Clark fans are crashing out. And we heard what her teammate, Aaliyah Boston, said. Aaliyah Boston has become one of the women's highest paid WNBA stars in the league. And she weighed in on her opinion. She said some things. And a lot of people said that was a good job by Aaliyah Boston for coming to the forefront to let people know that these fans of Caitlin Clark are trying to put Caitlin Clark against Raven and Raven against Caitlin Clark, and it's nothing like that. And now I'm sitting back thinking, a lot of people in the comments section said only if Caitlin Clark would come out and make a stand, but she hasn't yet. And there's one podcaster named Mariah Rose from the Hoops for Hotties podcast. She went in on Caitlin Clark. You are now tuned in for a brand new episode of the Simply Ball Dropping podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. Well, today, man, we got to talk about it, man. Mariah Rose from the Hoops for Hotties podcast, she destroyed Caitlin Clark. And she is saying everything that everybody else has said, but she broke it down so eloquently. And we're going to talk about it right after this. Well, guys, there's one thing for certain and two things for sure. There's a podcaster that's calling Caitlin Clark out, and she's calling her to the forefront, and she's shooting her shots and letting everybody know, when you hear this, make sure you tag Caitlin Clark and make sure you tag the Indiana Fever, because she did not hold back. Now, we know the WNBA draft has come to a conclusion, and the Indiana Fever with the number 10 pick, they selected Raven Johnson out of South Carolina. Now, what did that do? That caused an uproar with these Caitlin Clark fans. Why would you pick Raven Johnson? Then they went as far as making it racially motivated because of their history they had from 2023 on, and some of the things that Raven Johnson has said. And Aaliyah Boston spoke up and said that the Caitlin Clark fans are making these fake beefs and creating these fake narratives and putting these athletes against each other, which these athletes generally like each other. And this is to a point where it comes between Raven Johnson and Caitlin Clark. Aaliyah Boston said, no, these two are good. They're going to be great teammates. They're excited to be teammates. And a lot of people are making a big deal about it, especially the Caitlin Clark fans. So I come across this podcast that I've been following for a while, and this podcaster basically said some things that a lot of people have been wanting to say, but this is coming from a woman's point of view in this whole situation. And she made some great points. Guys, I want y'all to listen how Mariah Rose from the Hoops for Hotties podcast destroyed Caitlin Clark, calling her out, and the Indiana Fever. I want y'all guys to take a listen.
I am calling out Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever. I would like y'all to tag them, send this to them, whatever, I don't care. My girl, Raven Johnson. They done drafted her to the Barstool Barbies. Raven Johnson played for South Carolina. Very talented. She was the player that Caitlin Clark waved off at the 3-point line. Like, I'm not even gonna guard you. I don't give a fuck about you. What I have a problem with is what came after. And that's Raven wanting to quit basketball because of the hate she received from Caitlin Clark fans. Calling her a monkey and this, that, and all of the other third. It is your responsibility to make an anti-racist statement, not any of that bullshit about we're happy to have Raven, and then you see your comments are full of fucking bullshit. To beat around the bush and to pretend like y'all don't know exactly what the fuck we're talking about, it's honestly started to piss me the fuck off. Directly address it. And guess what? I used to always have people tell me, well, Caitlin's addressed it before. Caitlin's not racist. It's not. Keep addressing it. Make it very clear where you stand. I'm sorry. Is it inconvenient for you to have to say, sorry, I don't condone racism more than one fucking time? You know what the fuck is going on with your fans. You can be inconvenienced by the one little thing, that is telling your fan base to stop that shit. If it bothers you that people are being racist on your behalf, say something. You are not mute. You know how to use that fucking phone. Take a little video, do a little notes app post, screenshot it and post it. I am against racism. I don't stand for that shit. I don't stand for hate against any person. And if you are a racist person, you are no fan of mine. It is that simple.
Wow. Now you heard what she had to say. She made absolutely 100% accurate statements. And it goes back to last year. It goes back to year one. People been saying that. Caitlin, you have a voice. You should let your fans know that you don't respect anybody that spears racism. And that means that you're not a fan of mine. Because just like the young lady said, Caitlin shouldn't condone that. And she went on to say, hey, y'all, whoever hears this, y'all make sure y'all tag Caitlin Clark. Make sure y'all tag the Indiana Fever. Because she made some valid points. And this goes to show that, like Aaliyah Boston said in the video that we produced earlier, that it's the Caitlin Clark fans that are creating these narratives. It's not the Indiana Fever fans. It's the Caitlin Clark fans. And Mariah Rose had a great point. So anybody that follows the Hoops for Hotties podcast, make sure y'all send this podcast over to her. Let her know that I shouted her out, gave her just dues. Because this is what a lot of people been wanting from Caitlin Clark. For her to come out and make these statements. But hey, is it gonna happen? We don't know. Just like old girl said, oh, I'm happy to have Raven. Nah, you should go on your social medias because you're very influential and state that, hey, I don't believe in this racism stuff. We're teammates. Let's cut that out. And if you're spearing racism and hate toward Raven Johnson, you're not a fan of mine. But like a lot of people said, but they don't want to hear it. I've seen a lot of people on my network been talking about it. That if you rolled up on Caitlin Clark probably wouldn't even mess with you guys. And y'all defend her so hard. And y'all always make everything about Caitlin Clark. But I'm glad that there's other people speaking out about this stuff, man. It ain't just Aaliyah Boston, Raven Johnson's old former teammate, now her new teammate in the WNBA. It's other people on these podcast shows that are saying the same thing. But I guarantee you none of these Caitlin Clark fans will call out this young lady from the Hoops for Hotties podcast on the stance and the statement that she made against their quote unquote basketball guide in Caitlin Clark. It won't happen. But I'm glad that she stood up and she said what she had to say. And I hope a lot of people are paying attention. I hope a lot of Caitlin Clark fans are paying attention to what she had to say, because it makes absolutely 100% accurate statements in her whole diatribe. I see everybody in the comments section. #salute. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. Oh yeah, just in case I forgot. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. Excuse me. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K Sapp. We're going to catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.